savings have been huge. This is a slide that was actually borrowed from the ministry. They use this in their presentations that they give to present their success throughout the province. And I find it does a really good job at capturing the business benefits MOE has experienced as a result of fully automating their process to include electronic document retrieval and collaboration. Huge cost savings have resulted in moving their manual, heavily paper-based process to an online delivery model. Their processing team has become a more valuable asset as they are focused on the review rather than the clerical aspects of the process. The ministry's compliance rate has improved significantly, going from 13%, as we saw earlier in 2001, up to 87% in 2009, and processed more than 4,900 requests, and they did it all with less staff. And operational improvements aren't the only benefits they are experiencing. The feedback has been that MOE is seen as a very responsive organization, and the change in their compliance record is seen as a signal that they are committed to transparency and citizenship engagements. One indicator of the good work they are doing is the number of appeals the office receives. Last year, they processed close to 4,900 requests with only 14 appeals. This low number shows that people are happy with what they're getting. In the previous year, they experienced a higher rate of appeals with fewer requests processed. And they've also found that they get fewer calls from clients asking about the status of their requests or complaints that the process is taking too long. That really cuts down on the resources needed to allocate to manning the phones and finding what stage requesters' files are at. And even when they do need to look into a file because of a query or an appeal, all that information that they need is at their fingertips. Gone are the days of searching through stacks of paper. And being the Ministry of Environment, obviously being green is very important, as well as being efficient and conserving resources. So with this solution, they saw a huge reduction in overall use of office supplies, going from more than 800,000 pages of documentation to less than 100,000 a year. They also burn everything requesters need onto a disk for them and report that the savings in paper and toner have been huge. The operation used to take up an enormous amount of filing space. It would fill an entire storage room with filing cabinets. Annually, it would be emptied and hauled away to an off-site storage. Now, they don't expect to need any more space than one filing cabinet alone. As a result, last year, the ministry won the Diamond Award at Showcase Ontario for Green IT, and they've been proudly sharing their story throughout the province, setting up demonstrations and presentations with every chance they get. Overall, the idea of continuous improvement is something that the ministry is committed to, and their staged approach to freedom of information automation is reaping massive rewards for them. They have seen dramatic improvements in their ability to meet legislative timelines, and they now satisfy the demands of their requesters. They also have a far greater capacity to handle more and more complex requests while improving productivity levels. They are also experiencing significant and ongoing improvements in the way they are able to engage their regional offices. What once was a major bottleneck for them has become a process that record holders can't live without. The collaborative, streamlined approach to document and request handling enabled by this initiative is also allowing the ministry to pursue and fulfill continuous improvement objectives by providing ongoing opportunities to introduce efficiencies and reduce resource consumption while also optimizing their performance. As a company, Privasoft is committed to meeting our customers' evolving requirements and demands, and we are proud of our track record for working with clients to ensure their needs are met. As a result, we're moving beyond traditional case management and electronic redaction And now we're offering products that focus on collaboration, both within a single organization and across multiple organizations. Access Pro Workgroup is just one example of this development. So hopefully we've given you some good information about how your organization can benefit from Access Pro Workgroup. And at this time, Fanny and I would be happy to take any questions that you might have. It looks like we've received some really good questions over the course of the presentation. And the first question that we received asked, did the Ministry of Environment evaluate the security of the new system?
Yes, they did. Thanks, Melissa. So the MOA did went through a pretty rigorous risk assessment, and because of the MOA specific situation, they're running a secure intranet environment, and even though it's extended to their field offices, the secure network is extended to the field offices, and documents are transmitted via encryption over a VPN, virtual private network. And so workgroup did pass, and it met all the stringent security requirements that we needed to in order to for them to have workgroup put into their system.
Great, thanks, Stan. So the next question that we received asked, how does the Ministry of Environment ensure that the documents coming in from the regional offices get assigned to the appropriate analyst?
So that happens the process is actually done by a workgroup administrator. So what happens is the case management, Access Pro case management, the analyst is just assigns the search request to the workgroup administrator or to an analyst himself, but to a search officer. But at the workgroup level, a workgroup administrator can choose to reassign it to someone else. So it's essentially an administrator of the workgroup who's responsible for managing resources, I guess, as to who's going to do what. So I see another question coming in. Can you show us an example of redaction? Unfortunately, this is a workgroup demo. If you're referring to redaction demo, we'll be able to set it up at some other time. But from workgroup, using workgroup, you don't actually redact anything. It's really about specifying recommendations. So all that you will be able to do using workgroup is to be able to highlight information that you want to recommend for a specific exemption or an exclusion and those kind of things. But the actual redaction happens somewhere else, and that's a different product, and we'll be happy to set up another demonstration for that. I can take another question. So do you have any data numbers to indicate the cost benefit? As I said, I think this presentation does a pretty good job of that. We'll be able to share that with you, or pass on this question to our sales, who has some numbers that are pretty convincing and useful. Can take another question. Could you use workgroup to send consultation documentaries? Yes, you can receive it, and yes, you can do that. So in fact, system pretty well lends to that process as well. Please have a copy of some of the pages views from the actual program so we can show. So absolutely. So
they can't see that question, so I can't read it out.
Yeah, so question is, could we please have a copy of some of the pages / views from the actual program? Of course, Melissa will be able to follow up with you, Pam, and send you the question, the screenshots, or maybe the actual presentation. So you, as Melissa said in the beginning of the presentation, you will be able to download this the entire presentation after this once we upload it.
And I'll send out the presentation slides as well.
It's a good question here from, can you speak on the technology investment required to implement the solution? So as I said again, I guess the first and primary requirement obviously is a case management system. In this case, Access Pro Case Management, which is the tool that essentially captures the request information